up. And welcome to the stream, folks. We are going to be working on our member. So let's first start streaming on Discord. And if you'd like to join Discord, you can do it at flutter.dev/community. And we're going to do our left screen and we're going live. Okay. And we will bring this over to the right so we can see any chats that come our way. All right. So let's go ahead and start debugging. I've been working on this all morning. What it is it connects the MySQL database. Here, I'll show you real quick. So it connects this this MySQL database here, and we're working with the member structure. So this is what the member looks like. This is all the containments of the member. Now the member has a member JSON, which is this down here. And if we were to take this here, this is the member JSON. Copy, go over to validate member, validate JSON online validator, and paste it here. You'll see that we have the member JSON, which is this right here, which is part of the structure of the member file or the member entity, which contains the member entity contains all these values. Oh, we bailed out. We'll come back to this in a minute. Where were we at, folks? Right here. So the member entity, this is an example of the member entity, but in database format. If you recall, our member entity is over here. We go to lib domain. It's in the domain. It's an entity. It is a member entity. So if you look, the member entity has a member ID, member name, member email, member password, member locale, member picture. Okay. Now coming to our database, member ID, member name, member email, member is verified, member password, two-factor secret, etc., picture and all that. So we just copied our member entity into our database. So now when we save it individually, and we also save the JSON format right here. Now this JSON is going to be used to determine if this JSON is going to be used to load and unload this element. It's saved. This JSON here is saved on the local app. So on our app right here, which isn't working right now because it's in debug mode. Oops. Maybe I should turn that off. On our app, it saves the data into our database, our Bible Breeze database, which is in assets, Bible Breeze database, open with, I guess that's not going to work. So let's go to our developer tools and SQLite flow to open the database, because that's an SQLite database. We use an SQLite database within the app. Why? Because pretty much everything has SQLite on it. SQLite's available on Windows, Linux, Mac, iOS, and Android. So using SQLite in an app as an in-app database is kind of a smart thing. You're going to desktop. Nope. Documents. GitHub. BibleBreeze. Assets. BibleBreeze.db. Hey, what's going on, Bassam? Oh, it's going good, going good. Good to see you. I'm just coding. So, and I'm also streaming this, so that's why I'm talking. Oh, no, this is a public channel. If you have any questions or anything about Flutter or Dart, you can ask here. You're what kind of developer? Okay, now you're shifting over to Flutter. Well, welcome to the community, Bassam. Flutter is a really good language because it's cross-platform. You can use it on all the applications, so it's a pretty much a one code and done. All you do is code for one platform, and then it works on all other platforms, including the web. Yeah. All right. Mm-hmm. So the nice thing about Flutter is it's a community-driven code. It is open source code, so you can go to GitHub and view the code. You can download it in either binary or source code format and compile it yourself. It's written in, I believe, C. And it is, again, it's available, it's open source. It is sponsored by Google. Google owns it. So that's where the Google family comes into play. It's run, all the Google engineers, software engineers design and develop it. In fact, today is Wednesday. There's going to be a Q&A on Flutter on what's his name, on Randall, on Randall's site on YouTube. Randall Swartz. He will be doing a discussion about Flutter and the Flutter engineers that design and develop Flutter code. Yep. So make sure to check that out. I think you can go into, let's see, I think it's events. Let me look. Yep, Randall Swartz today. And it's, I think it's 11 o'clock my time. I will copy the link. Let's see if I can copy this. Copy message link. There we go. That's even better. And here is where you can look at his message right there. Click on that link and it'll take you to Randall's message today. I think it's going to be 11 o'clock my time, so in about an hour I'll switch over and I'll continue coding, but I'll switch over to the Q&A. In fact, let me go ahead and bring it up right now. Okay. I'm going to bring up Randall's site just so I'm ready. In 41 minutes it will start. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, yeah, @ uh-huh. @ and IoT, uh-huh. So so today is Hump Day Q&A for Flutter @ so if you want to learn a little bit more about Flutter, just join them on their YouTube channel here in about 40 minutes. Again, I'm streaming live, so I'll probably cut it off in 40 minutes and just participate in this Q&A discussion. Okay. October Hackathon. Oh, really? Inverters. Hmm. Let's see. Inverters. Okay. Developer tooling and integrated specialists. Get in touch. Flutter Community Hacktoberfest. Flutter Community Hacktoberfest, 1 to 31st. Hacktoberfest brings hundreds of maintainers and new contributors every year. Sign up with GitHub, view the list of eligible issues. All right. Oh, really? Let's see what issues there are. Functionality, use artboard size, anti-aliasing, support application projects for Milos version command, get Wi-Fi name return null on Android 13 platformer tutorial. Oh, a platformer tutorial, that's fun. I wouldn't mind doing that for Mac OS. Add the possibility to show the version date and change log. Add support for self-hosted GitLab. Oh, they have a ton of things you can do. Oh yeah, 175. Wow. Wow. And this is Hacktoberfest from Invertase. I don't know who Invertase is. Okay. Firebase, Flutterfire, Invertase, React, Native, Extensions, Milos. Gotcha. Deck and Max Spec, Flutterfire. Oh, they do Flutterfire desktop. Very nice. Okay. That's good. Because I was looking at Flutterfire desktop because, as you know, Flutterfire auth only works on all systems except Linux and Windows. So you use Flutterfire desktop will work on Linux and Windows. If you look at hub.dev and you go to Firebase auth, Firebase auth is a great tool for managing your authentication. I actually have it set up already for Firebase login. Let's try that. Well, I won't do it now, but I have it set up. So with Firebase Auth, all you do is set up Firebase to manage your authentication system, and it'll handle all your logging in and out. The drawback to that is it works on Android, iOS, Mac OS, and the web, which leaves out Linux and Windows. So I prefer, yes, and Universe.io does Firebase Auth, Firebase Desktop, Auth, Firebase Auth Desktop. Firebase Auth Desktop is by Invertase.io, which is a desktop auth version for just Linux and Windows. So you use, yeah, so you use both those packages and you have a full, robust authentication login system. Yep, it's a good system, and that's what's so good about the Flutter community. If there's something missing, someone's going to make it. Someone's going to design it and create it. I mean, there are dozens of packages, and a package is kind of a plugin for Dart. There are dozens of packages. If you go to pub.dev and you scroll by recently updated, you will see, or not recently updated, newest package, you'll see in the last hour media plugin, Flutter Drawer, Cube Cloud, COS client, open files, a plugin that can call native app to open files with string results in Flutter. And what I do is I go down this list and I kind of cheat. I look at how many likes it has. So within 5 hours, this has already garnished 3 likes. Progress bar rounded. This is a rounded progress bar with custom colors. It was added 5 hours ago, and usually the home page leads to the GitHub. I don't see any pictures of it, but it must be okay because 3 people have liked it. So I go down the list and just see how many likes there are. The one with a lot of likes, like this one here, 9 patch image, resizable bit for Flutter. So that's kind of neat. Oh, I can use this. Very nice. It's little bubble chats, chat bubbles. Yes. In fact, if you go to GitHub and you search for Flutter, I think it is. There is something. See, this is the Flutter, and these are all the contributors. 1,089 contributors to Flutter program. It's flutter.dev. It's BSD3 licensed, and it's sponsored by Google. It's made by Google. Google owns it. Google Groups. Flutter announced Google Groups. Policies.google. So there's something in here that says, you know, good first programs, and one of them is Simple Auth. Awesome Flutter, Flutter screens, Flutter Fire. Let's try that. Now, this was from 2 years ago. The thing, but yeah, you can do assistance. You can do new coding with any package. So you just pull up a package that you might like, and you just start helping code it by going to GitHub and creating a pull request. Molten navigation flutter. An animated bottom navigation bar with a lot of... Oh yeah, that's cute. That's very cute. I like that. Really? Ah, really? Let's take a look at the source. It looks pretty neat. He had zero experience. It really is. He did a good job. And he managed to put it all in one page. He did that whole thing with 350 lines of code. That's pretty impressive. Good job. Good job to him. He did excellent work. And this is you here, amans.dev. Oh, he doesn't have it there. Yeah, yeah. But it's usually good just to have a point of contact, like a point of contact out there, even if you don't mess with it. Like GitHub's my profile, and usually my profile is all over, but this may or may not work. It doesn't look like it's working. I have my own little .dev. This starts in... Let's see. MutierBassam.com. All right. What work do we have? Our Cody contractor about. Oh, it's your resume. Very nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at you. There you are. Android applications, open source, easy Twitter. Oh, it's Python. Okay, very nice. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very nice, very nice. Good work. Now you're learning Flutter. With JavaScript? Oh, yeah. Years ago, I worked with JavaScript, but not recently. Data modeling validation. Oh, very nice. Let's see. So I am adjusting my code since it's in JSON format, and I have to have, I use Camelback for JSON format. So this should run my code now. Fingers crossed. Again, I've been working on this all morning. I'll take a look at that TypeScript in just a second. Let me see if this compiles and runs. Let's see if this works. No, mine is closed source. It's a Bible app I'm working on. I've been working on it for about a year and a half. It's just a personal project. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a work in progress. It's getting there. It's getting pretty large. Let's see. DDD, Riso Coders DDD, domain driven design. Hey, there it goes. It's working. And the nice thing, uh-oh. Oh, I haven't done it yet. So, yeah, that's it, Bible Breeze. So the nice thing about Flutter is this is a desktop version, right? Watch this. Bam. Almost. It's still a desktop version. But if I want it to be a mobile app, I would just do turn this into iOS. Start my mobile app up and then run it as a mobile app. And that's without changing any code, not doing anything special, just switching the platform that it's running on. The state management I use is Qubit, which is part of Block. Well, RiverPod is by far the most popular. Provider is the most basic. It's the closest to standard Flutter block you can get. So Provider is really, really basic. Your other ones are Block, which is stream driven mostly. Qubit, which is event based. No, you need to, it took me a lot of tutorials to learn Block. Once I finally did, it made sense, it clicked. It did take a lot of tutorials. RiverPod does not take that many tutorials to learn. and many of the developers here in the community within this Flutter community of, what is this, Discord Flutter community, they use RiverPod. In fact, there's an actual channel just for that. State and architecture is a channel set up just for the state management. Yep. Yep. Yes. So the simplest way to get part-time work for Flutter is by going to upwork.com and creating a profile there. Upwork charges 20% of the total value that you're going to get. It is freelancing. Mm-hmm. I do. I do that. And actually, right now, Basam, you are putting it out there that you are looking for part-time work because, again, I'm streaming this live. I do that, but I'm a little full right now. I have two coders on my staff that are working on my program. So you want to post it in looking for work, and what is it? It is, which one is it? Is it for hire? Oh, there it is. Yep, for hire. Yep, you're right. So just go to for hire and just post what you are, exactly what you just said, that you're a Flutter developer, you're experienced, you're just looking for a project to work with. If you want money, let them know, you'll discuss income with them. What I do is I have one coder that's experienced. Uh, my front end coder is experienced, and then I just brought on another coder, Amos Ogra, that is a new, just like you. He's new to the program. Uh, yeah, absolutely. If I have the availability, but again, I just added Amos, so I'm going to, and he's new to Flutter as well, so I'm working with him kind of one on one. There's other people that do this within the community. I'll 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 try to gather a resource and see who that is. I'm working on a resource site right now. In fact, I need someone to code it because I just don't have time to code this site. Randall comes on in 18 minutes, but fluttercode.com is a resource site for Flutter. I haven't built it yet. All I got is some forms. So, yeah. What I want to do, I want to turn this into a kind of a board system, Flutter code into a community board system, so that you can do multiple discussions like that. I just don't have a board format or anything, so I need someone to come in and code this for me. No, this here is written in PHP. This is just a WordPress. This is just WordPress. But let's see. I don't know if I have it coded or not. Let's see. Yep, there it goes. So this is it on the web. Yep. Well, it's not live. I mean, it's a kind of a test. So, oh, it's definite alpha. Super alpha. It's just A from alpha. No, I'm not ready for testing at all. I'm still designing and developing the whole application. But yeah, it's a work in progress. Let's see. It was nice meeting you too, Bassam. Oh, you're not. I love talking, and this is just a little. This is a little live stream that goes across Twitter, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Trovo, YouTube, and Twitch. Yeah. So if you want to go to any of those channels, just look for my Flutter code, and you'll see that my Flutter code streaming software manager right now. As you see, there there's a live part right there. All right. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Alrighty, so okay, let's get back to work here, folks. We're going to run it on. We'll do it without debugging. Okay, so what have we done? We have brought in the database, the remote database. We have gone to database. We don't need this one. We have gone to here, which is logged out. We've gone to our database, we've gone to member, and we have pulled our JSON from this. Now, what I want to do next, and I really don't like doing it on a phone because the phone is so tiny and small. So I like a desktop version, so I'm going to switch back to desktop debugging. macOS. All right, start debugging. As you see, I use Whack-A-Time, which is pretty cool. Whack-A-Time for developers. Log in with GitHub. Hopefully, oh, this is a different person. Log out. Log in. Log in with GitHub. I gotta change my GitHub login. Logged in as Flutter code. And I'm actually, oh, there we go, Bible base. All right. Okay, so we loaded up. We loaded our profile. We have us in, if you look, we are logged in. Bam, right there. So that's us. We are logged in currently. Now, when we logged in, since we have two profiles, we have the profile, we don't have it on here. We have it actually saved in Hive. If you look in our entity, when we create, if you remember looking back earlier at our entity, you go to lib, and again, this is domain-driven design, so you go to domain and entities. If you don't know domain-driven design, then Google up RESO, R-E-S-O, coder, DDD. RESO coder DDD, and there's an extensive tutorial on domain-driven design. Watch it a couple of times, and you'll be able to build this system here. Very robust in that it allows you to split your presentation from your interface using your domain to link the two. It's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. Okay, so we're going to our member entity. Our member entity right here, we have it as a Hive object, so we save it as Hive. So what is Hive? Hive is another database. Yes, 3 databases, folks. It takes 3 databases to run this app, but once you understand what each database does, you'll go, oh, okay, I get it. So what is Hive? Hive is a package created by hivedb.dev. Not sure who that is. Let's see. Oh, it has Hive docs. Oh, that's nice. Flutter tutorials, snippets for VS Code. Wow, look at there. Got everything. Lazy box. Okay, so Hive is a NoSQL database. So SQL databases, and if you know this, not to insult anyone's intelligence, this is just to go over the basics of databases. SQL, which stands for, help me out here, Bassam. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Structured Query Language is just that. It's structured. It's member ID, member name, and you do a query. Select everything from member where one, where member is greater than one. So you do an SQL structured query language to get whatever you're looking for based off certain criteria. NoSQL doesn't do that. You don't have the select this from that. You just have chunks of data, which is really good. You have boxes in this case, just a box of data. My box, put name David, get name, print name, name. Very simple, very, very simple stuff, opposed to all this API backend that I have that connects to a remote MySQL database that does a remote query. If you look at here, this is my API system is a PHP. So it does select member JSON from member where, member email, like member email, fetch all, and then it uses database class. So based off all of this here, this is my API. So my API generates information for my program here. Opposed to doing all of that, this right here is a box. This here is nothing more than a box of Hive stored data. This right here, it's all in one chunk. So the really nice thing about Hive chunks, let's go down all the way down into our interface layer, infrastructure, data sources, local Hive source, local Hive boxes, source. So when we the very first thing this app does is it tries to automatically log you in. So what it does is it looks to see if you have a profile in the Hive box. So if my box contains the key Hive profile name, then all you do is create a member entity from the Hive profile name. Bam, that's it. You just created an entire object with all of these values here, all of these values, just by doing that right there. That's it. Now, if you're using an API though, you have to go to your remote database. You have to create a function, get recent member entity from the server. Then you have to open up a remote connection using whatever you're using, HTTP. In this case, I use Dio, which is another package. So you use Dio to connect, and then if it does not return a 200, which is an OK code, then you bail out. Otherwise, you go through the member JSON and you transform it from JSON into a map string. The transformation is right here, member model from JSON, and it takes all of this. You have to go line by line. Since it's a SQL structured query language, it's going to return everything line by line. You have to go line by line to build your member model. Your member model is an extension of member entity. So within the domain one up, it turns the member model into the member entity, and it passes that up into the infrastructure passes that up into the presentation where the member entity is used. However, it takes all of this to create the member entity. It took all those steps. And what does it take when using a Hive? It takes this one line of code. One line of code to create an entire member entity. It just looks for if there's a Hive profile name, which there is, and it loads it. Now, what if the Hive profile name is not newer than the database storage? So the last time, if we member is verified, or member updated at current timestamp. So let's edit this. Now the current timestamp that was updated was today, this morning at 934. Now let's say we're on a website, or we're on Windows, we're on another platform, and then we save our profile. It's going to update that profile to whatever time we updated it at. Did I set the right one, or did I do? Yeah, I did create it at. So it updated at 11:46. Let's say I'm on the web and I changed my profile image. So I changed my profile image at 1:46 in the afternoon. Let's go ahead and save that. Where's my save button? All the way down here. Go. All right. It did this. It updated the time. So I went to BibleBreeze.com and I said, you know what? I don't like my profile name here. Oh, it's not logged in here. I don't know if it'll log in. I haven't tested this yet on. Yeah, I'll work on this later. But if I log into BibleBreeze.com and change my profile name, profile image, it doesn't update on my app here. So my question is, what if I update the website and update my profile, but nothing else is updated? How do I get, and then I open up my app on my phone or something, it's going to first do this. It's going to check if there is a Hive, local storage Hive database stored. It's not going to look at the remote database first. It's going to look at this and it's going to say, yep, there's one here, and it's going to load it, and it's going to load my old image. It's not going to load the new image. So where do you handle that? Where do you manage your if then? If the server database is newer than the local database, local Hive database, then use the server database. Where do you put that check in? That check is in your block, which is, block is an acronym for business logic. Your business logic is part of your interface. Again, or correction, is part of your presentation. Again, we're keeping the interface and the presentation separate. So when you request something from the interface, you are doing just one request and only that request. You are not doing anything else. So it's important to use name schemes that are definitive of what you're doing. In this case, I am get most recent member entity from server. So I'm getting the most recent member entity from the MySQL server over here. So it's going to look for manager at BibleBreeze, and it's going to pull that information into here. It's not going to do any if checks other than the data itself. It's not going to do if then checks. It's simply going to get the most recent member entity from server, and it's going to return either I could not get that, or here's your member entity. That's it. Nothing else. Same with this, update or insert member entity. It's either going to update it or it's not. So it's going to either return a failure or a success. Get current Bible version by ID. That's all it's going to do. It's going to get the current Bible version by ID. It's going to return it's either going to get it or it's going to return a Bible version entity. So important that you can use it as long as you want, but descriptive functionality. Use descriptive functions so that you, in your interface, you understand specifically what is going to be called and what is being asked for and what is being returned. So going up into our interface again, this was all based off of the business logic. So going up into our interface, we are part of the authorization and we're doing an automatic login. So we go into our auto login qubit, which is, as Bamos had asked earlier, what state management to use. I use qubit, which is part of block. Bamos uses riverpod, which is the most popular package, and there are several state management packages. There's tutorials on YouTube that have all these packages available. Again, I use Qubit, which is actually part of Block. So Block contains Qubit in it right here. This is what I use. I use an event-based. Block is kind of stream-based, which is, this is all Qubit here. Where's the stream? Where's the stream? I don't see one, but we're not going to go into all of that. This is Block. This is the state management I use. Bamos uses Riverpod, which is very popular, and this is his state management. Pretty simple. You can also use Provider. And if you don't know what state packages there are that are popular, go to go to flutter.dev, search for state management in Flutter, and then it describes what state management is. And let's see, tools and features. No, state management introduction. Think to ephemeral. And this is important. Differentiate between ephemeral state and app. But somewhere in here, it explains what options there are for state management. Let's see how much time oh, it's time to go. Okay, folks, sorry, it is time for the Q&A session on YouTube with Randall Swartz. So if you are watching, I'm ending now. Thank you very much for watching my stream. I will see you probably again tomorrow. We have been streaming for just about an hour, which is our average time. Thank you again, folks. You have a pleasant